We have taken down another great icon.
She instantly sucked me into her vision.
It was breakthrough technology.
I loved Theranos. It was my life's work.
We invested millions in a scam.
But it was too good to be true.
Too good to be true. Elizabeth Holmes. She promised the world, but delivered nothing. She claimed she could find any disease with a single drop of blood. Tonight, we take you through the rise and fall of Elizabeth Holmes. We begin where she did. Here she is in her own words.
During summer break, while I was still in Stanford, I got a job at the Genome Institute of Singapore. I worked on a computer chip that was supposed to find SARS in a body. After that job, I was interested in testing tech for testing and assessing diseases in an easier, improved way. So I created a customized medicine tool that could be used in the home by every patient so that every day a patient can get real-time analysis of their blood samples. And so Theranos began.
My grandfather had me meet Elizabeth Holmes when I was still in college. She came to our house and explained what she did. After that, I followed her and eventually became a full-time employee. She seemed amazing. She instantly sucked me into her vision.
We were making a messy, uncertain, and time-consuming medical process into something effortless and painless. A little teeny needle that pulls a little teeny drop of blood. Software will do the rest.
There was a booth for Theranos at the Cal Berkeley Job Fair. I gave Theranos my resume, and I was interviewed by Elizabeth Holmes that day. They hired me, and I couldn't believe how lucky I was to work for such a visionary.
Companies started investing millions into Theranos. They believed it was breakthrough technology, and they wanted a part in it.
So many people have contributed to Theranos' success. The Walton family, the heirs of Walmart, invested $150 million into this technology. The DeVos family contributed $100 million to the company, and Walgreens invested $50 million. Safeway, Cox, Enterprises, I could go on.
Elizabeth Holmes was trying to revolutionize American healthcare. She had a fantastic vision for the American people.
We thought it was a great investment. It sounded so good.
I admit I was starstruck by Elizabeth from the first time I met her. It was my only job interview, and there's no other place I wanted to be.
Theranos is worth more than $7 billion. We have thousands of investors, and our company sees nothing but growth in the future. Our potential is unlimited. We will open wellness centers in Walgreens and Safeway pharmacies nationwide.
She was attractive, smart, and a great salesperson. Her personality drove the company and attracted people to her like bees to honey. She seemed to do no wrong. But soon after Tyler and Erica joined Theranos, they discovered that it and Elizabeth Holmes weren't quite what they seemed to be.
The Edisons that Elizabeth supposedly created didn't have anything special. It seemed like a revolutionary technology until I realized that I could do everything it does with a pipette.
The Edisons were the machines Holmes claimed she created. They were supposed to find any disease with a single drop of blood over a blood sample. It is, of course, named after Thomas Edison, an inventor she tried so desperately to imitate.
We ran our technology in Switzerland at one of our offices and processed samples on cartridges that we brought there, and then had data wirelessly transmitted back to our site in California. It was successful. We nailed it.
One of the two readers Elizabeth took to Switzerland had malfunctioned when they got there. The employees she brought with her had stayed up all night trying to get it to work. They couldn't, so they masked the problem and beamed over a fake result.
Our device is in the production phase. We hope to release it actually to a pharmaceutical partner around mid to late this year.
You know, I started to get skeptical of the company, and I felt the vision that Elizabeth saw start to unravel.
Later, I resigned because I figured out that the technology was not yet able to process the samples accurately.
Coming up, Theranos' big secret is unraveling as Holmes tries desperately to save her failing company.
Hacking is way easier than getting a job. It's so fun to control other people's lives. Quiet, Mom! I'm trying to concentrate! Parents, am I right? Anyways, your life's work is under my fingertips. No security, no firewalls. What are you thinking? I make an easy living making your life a nightmare. Just one thing to remember, don't get NordVPN. They're what you call secure. They can't be hacked, so as soon as I find one, I just move on. There are plenty of people who haven't seen the light, so don't get that anti-scam artist. I gotta go now. I have a lot more people to torment.
Remember, your security is not complete without you. Get NordVPN.
Welcome back to Too Good to Be True. Elizabeth Holmes' company seemed to have it all. It was the darling of the investing world, but it wouldn't last. The testing machines couldn't produce the results she wanted. The whole reason for the company was in doubt.
After I found out it was a scam, I resigned. Then I wrote a letter to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. To me, it seemed like the final resort to get the truth out about what was happening to these patient samples.
I talked to my grandfather, who was on the board of Theranos. He refused to fix anything or hold Elizabeth accountable, so I took matters into my own hands. I blew the whistle on Theranos and faced enormous pressure from Elizabeth's lawyers to back down, but I didn't.
Tyler and Erica both contacted Joan Carreyrou, an investigative reporter.
I had not heard of Elizabeth Holmes until I saw a profile of her in the New Yorker. But it just didn't make sense. She only had a couple semesters of chemical engineering. How could she make such a groundbreaking chemical science technology?
So Joan kept digging, and the plot grew thicker.
I heard about someone alleging that Theranos was doing some shady stuff. So I'm an investigator. I'm intrigued and I need to know more. He eventually explained to me that the Edison had 250 blood tests done, but 240 of them were done with different machines. So they had nothing.
They indicted Elizabeth on 11 counts of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. She faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted.
I mean, it's almost anti-American to go after somebody who's trying to change healthcare as we know it.
But she didn't change healthcare. 13 years later, when the company dissolved, it had never successfully produced a testing device. Edison was a flop, and Elizabeth Holmes is headed to prison.
She was found guilty of 4 counts of wire fraud, and last year she was sentenced to 11 years in prison. But some people, her investors, still believe in her.
She didn't lie to me. I was an investor. I lost my entire investment, but I still have the utmost respect for what she was trying to do.
It was incredibly stressful. And the fact that you see yourself working for this company that's lying to its patients, it was a nightmare. Every day I was challenging myself like, this is wrong. I feel sick. I can't do this.
She made lots of incredible claims and sold hundreds on her idea. But it was too good to be true. The idea wasn't real.
At sentencing, she tried to apologize. I stand before you, taking responsibility for Theranos. I loved Theranos. It was my life's work. There are so many things I would do differently if I had the chance. I tried to realize my dream too quickly. Yesterday, I tried to change the world. Today, I'm wise and want to change myself. As the judge said at the hearing, failure is normal, but failure by fraud is not okay. Elizabeth Holmes is due back in court in April, where she will likely go directly to jail. Too good to be true? Elizabeth Holmes turned out to be.